Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah ma ba'd. The question is asking about this ayah number 157 from surah number 4, surah Esaa, ayah number 157. The context here, Esaa ibn Maryam alayhi salam came with Tawheed. He came to explain to the people about the oneness of Allah, but they didn't like it. The people that he was sent to had corrupted their book and they had changed their sharia. So when he was talking to them about the oneness of Allah, when he was talking to them about salat, when he was talking to them about sadaqah, and enjoining upon them good and forbidding upon them evil, they didn't like it because all of this had been distorted. So why has this person come to try and rectify what we had distorted? So they didn't like it. Eventually, they put a plan together to kill Esaa ibn Maryam alayhi salam. So they stormed the house where Esaa was staying, and they picked out a young man. And detail this is going to come inshallah. This person, they killed him, they crucified him, and then they went around saying, وَقَوْلِهِمْ إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحَ عِيسَى ibn Maryam رَسُولُ اللَّهِ, the messenger of Allah, Esaa ibn Maryam, we've killed him. We've killed him. And they were boasting and they were proud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rejects this. وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ, they didn't kill him. وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ, and they didn't crucify him. وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ, rather the person that they picked up, the person that they persecuted and they killed, he resembled Esaa ibn Maryam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it that this person resembled Esaa ibn Maryam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed the way this person looked to resemble Esaa ibn Maryam. وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ لَفِي شَكٍّ مِّنْهِ, and those who differed about Esaa ibn Maryam, they were in doubt. Have we actually killed him? What's actually happened to him? مَا لَهُمْ بِهِ مِنْ عِلْمٍ إِلَّا اتِّبَاعَ الظَّنِّ, none of them have ilm, except all of them are following guesswork. وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ يَقِينًا, and they did not kill him with full yaqeen, meaning they thought they killed him, but they were doubtful. They thought they killed him, but they didn't actually kill him. The questioner is actually asking here, this is a non-Muslim questioner, I believe. He is asking, why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this person resemble Esaa ibn Maryam? Why didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just lift Esaa ibn Maryam in front of everyone in plain sight? Why is it that this person was made to resemble Esaa ibn Maryam? Now this is what the question is saying. May Allah protect us. And this is the importance of aqeedah. You can see in this question, even the way that the question is being asked, you can see the importance of aqeedah. The person is saying, no sound believer in his aqeedah would say such a thing, but this is what he is asking. He is saying, isn't this a form of lying and deception from Allah? Na'udhu billah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it seem as if they did something, but they didn't actually do something. So isn't Allah tricking them? Is Allah lying towards them and deceiving them? So this is the question. To answer this question, we have a number of benefits from the books of tafsir. Imam al-Tabari rahimahullah, he said, لما أحاط اليهود به وبأصحابه, when they surrounded Esaa ibn Maryam and his companions, meaning the Hawariyin, the disciples, they wanted to kill him, Esaa ibn Maryam alayhi salam. وذلك أنهم جميعا حولوا في سورة عيسى. Now this is one view from the ulama, which is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it as if all of his disciples resembled Esaa ibn Maryam. فأشكل الذين كانوا يريدون قتل عيسى. So now they were confused. Which one is Esaa? There's 13 of them. There's 12 disciples and there's Esaa ibn Maryam. They all look like Esaa. Which one do we pick up? Which one do we kill? وخرج إليهم بعد ما كان في البيت مع عيسى فقتلوه وهم يحسبونه عيسى. So they picked any one of them and they thought, yeah, he resembles Esaa the most. What do we learn from this extract from Tafsir al-Tabari? These people were trying to oppress Esaa ibn Maryam and the believers. Therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it as a way out. And this is what happens in the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They tried to kill Nuh alayhi salam. They tried to kill Hud alayhi salam. They tried to kill Salih alayhi salam. They tried to kill Musa alayhi salam. They tried to kill Esaa alayhi salam. They tried to kill Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Every single one of those anbiya and messengers, prophets and messengers was supported by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, if a person is saying, why is it that Allah made it seem, who is the oppressor here? The oppressor are those people who are trying to kill Isa ibn Maryam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't do it from the offset that He wanted everyone to resemble Isa so that it could be a form of trickery, na'udhu billah. No, this is a means of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defended Isa ibn Maryam. And in this is a hikmah. Because these people continued in their false aqeedah. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, He would have shown them in plain sight and there would be nothing left of a test anymore. Anybody could see a miracle and then be convinced by the miracle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to follow the text that He has sent. So now the test remains. Here is the text, which is the Injil. Are you going to follow Tawheed or not? As for Isa ibn Maryam, he comes and he goes, just like all prophets and messengers. Are you going to follow the message? Another thing that we can learn from this is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted him. بَلْ رَفَعَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on in Surah Esaa to say He lifted him. They didn't kill him. They didn't achieve what they thought they had achieved. What is the purpose of this lifting? So that he can come back. And as we have read in the beginning of this message here, وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ لَفِي شَكٍّ مِّنْهِ. The ulama of tafsir have said there's a great deal of doubt when it comes to Isa ibn Maryam. From both sides, from the Christian side and from the Jews side, all of Ahl Kitab have a shak about Isa ibn Maryam. So when Isa alayhi salam comes back, all of that is going to be eradicated. He's going to come back with Tawheed. Hence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing that we can have here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to their trickery, to their plotting, to their planning. And this is not deception, rather it's a mercy how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects the believers. In this also, Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, he says, so like we have said, we're going to take benefits from different books. He says, وَهَذَا كُلُّهُ مِنْ إِمْتِحَانِ اللَّهِ عِبَادَةً. This shows us the power and the mercy and the ability to bring relief from Allah for His servants. لَمَّا لَهُ فِي ذَلِكَ مِنَ الْحِكْمَةِ الْبَالِغَةِ. There is a great deal of hikmah, and we've just talked about some of them here, how Isa will come back and eradicate any kind of false notion towards him, and he will spread Tawheed. وَقَدْ أَوْضَحَ اللَّهُ الأمر وجلاه وبينه وأظهره في القرآن العظيم. He goes on, Ibn Kathir rahimahullah. It is quite lengthy, but what he says rahimahullah in the tafsir of this ayah, all of this shows us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ability over His creation, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the unseen, and that we only know the seen. The reality of the situation is that Isa alayhi salam was lifted. Who knows that? Nobody knew that. Even some of the disciples didn't know where He had gone, alayhi salam. So those people that were closest to Him, the most learned of Him, His own companions, they didn't even know the unseen. So now this is showing us now that this revelation has come. Remember, the truth about Isa ibn Maryam being lifted had been distorted, even by the Christians themselves at the point of revelation when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came. So nobody knew the haqq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed these ayat to explain the haqq and to explain the unseen. So now something happened hundreds of years before. Now you can see the hikmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah decreed something to occur, and its apparency and its lesson and the truthfulness behind it comes apparent 500-600 years later. These people at that point didn't know what was happening. What happened? It was revealed in the Quran. Wahab ibn Munabbih, this is taken from the tafsir of Tabari, rahimahullah. He says, okay, so now they wanted to kill him, so they gathered and they stormed the house and they picked up this person, and it was made to resemble Isa. وَكَانَتِ الْيَهُودُ تَطْلُبُهُ, and the Yahud were looking for him. They were looking for a reason to try and kill Isa ibn Maryam. They're looking for. فَأَخَذُوا شَمْعُونَ. The person that they took was a person called Sham'un. Ahad al-Hawariyin. He was one of the disciples. So they started saying, no, this isn't Isa, this is Sham'un. And some of them started saying, no, this is Isa, it's not Sham'un. And this is now going back to what we were saying here. وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ لَفِي شَكٍّ مِّنْهُ. They were doubtful as to whether they got Isa in the first place, alayhi salam. Those people who said, no, this is Isa, they overcame the other group. So what they did is they crucified him. And then they started ridiculing Isa alayhi salam. Are you the one that brought life back to death with the permission of Allah? Are you the one that made clay and breathed into it? So are you the one that healed the leper and the blind? Heal yourself now. They started ridiculing him on the crucifix. Until one of the Hawariyin, and his name, now this has been mentioned by Ibn Ishaq in a sanad which is munqati', so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, but here, clearly this is taken from the Israeliyat. Now our ulama, when it comes to tafsir, have used the Israeliyat, and we've talked about Israeliyat before, with conditions. Now this actually shows us the hikmah of using the Israeliyat. We have preserved narrations from the people of the book which they themselves have not preserved. We can tell the Yahud and the Nasara today about what their religion has because they have no isnad and we have isnad. Do you understand that point? It's a really important point. The ulama have used Israeliyat to refer to things about history and about tafsir, etc., with its conditions, and this is not the time for us to talk about the conditions of Israeliyat. And Ibn Ishaq is using this. He says, according to your own sources, there was a person called Yudas Zakaria Yuta. He was one of the disciples. Now look what happens. He was one of the disciples. Whilst they were differing, Yudas says, I know the person who has been made to resemble Isa. Now let's just go back a couple of steps. Remember we said in the beginning, Imam al-Tabari said all of them had changed in their features to resemble Isa. Later on, he gives the correct view is that not all of them had changed, and this is the view of Ibn Kathir as well. This is an issue where the ulama had differed, and we're going to talk about that later. So right now we just need to understand that only one person resembled Isa. So there's two people that look like Isa. Isa himself, alayhi salam, who's been lifted, and this person, Sham'un. This person, Yudas Zakaria Yuta, he comes to the Yahud and he says, I know what happened. I saw it. Shall I tell you where this person is? They said, yes. So he said, give me 30 dirham. He took the 30 dirham and he took them to Sham'un. They took Sham'un, they fastened, they arrested him basically. They fastened his limbs with bilhabal, it says here, by Wahab ibn Munabbih, with rope. And then they carried him. And then they started saying, Anta kunta tahyi al-mawta. You are the one. Now all this while it's Sham'un, but they think it's Isa. And this person here, Yudas Zakaria Yuta, he has sold Isa alayhi salam, but really it's Sham'un for 30 dirhams. Can you see what's going on here? So now they're speaking to him and they say, you used to bring the dead back to life. وَتَنْتَهِرِ الشَّيَاطِينَ, you used to repel the shayateen, ruqya, etc. وَتُبْرِئُ الْمُجْمِنُونَ, and you used to give relief and take people out of insanity. You used to cure the insane. أَفَلَا تُنْجِيَ نَفْسَكَ مِنْ هَذَا الْحَبْلِ, can you save yourself from this rope? This is how they're talking to who they thought was Isa ibn Maryam. وَيَبَصِّقُونَ عَلَيْهِ, and then they started spitting at him. And then they started throwing thorns on him. And he had a girdle of thorns as well, according to some of the ulama of tafsir. And then they crucified him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted Isa ibn Maryam, and the one that was on the crucifix, he was the one who resembled Isa. And he stayed there for 7 days, 7 months, Allah knows best. So now here, to answer this question, I know this is lengthy, but it needs a detailed response because the person here has negative thoughts of Allah. Number one, these people are the ones who are the transgressors. And this is from the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is that He repels the transgression upon those people who are transgressed. A person wants fitna, Allah will return that fitna upon that person. Fir'aun wanted to harm Musa. Who is the one that ended up getting harmed? The people of Nuh wanted to harm Nuh. Who is the people that ended? These people wanted to kill Esaa ibn Maryam. Who are the ones who are now being punished? They are being punished themselves because they live in this state of doubt. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save the believers. Secondly, according to their own text from the Christians, you have seen what you've just seen from what happened in history. They, from their own Israeliyat, are saying, no, Esaa alayhi salam was saved, and it was a person called Shamun that was on the crucifix, from the Israeliyat themselves. So what happened to Esaa? He did not die. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted him. Now Imam al-Tabari rahimahullah, shubbiha lahum, it was made to resemble Esaa. The person was made to resemble Esaa. He says now here, does it mean that all of them resembled Esaa alayhi salam? Now according to the ulama of tafsir, some of them, they said when they raided the house, so what happened was, Esaa alayhi salam prepared for them some food, and they ate the food. And then he washed his hands, and they washed his hands with him. And then he says, Allah is going to lift me. Ayyukum ulqiya shabahi alay walahum jannah. Is there anyone that can stand and take my place? I guarantee for that person Jannah. A person, his name was named Surjis. He says, Ana ya ruhullah. Ana ya ruhullah. Now, is this the same person, or is it a different person that was actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? But a person called Surjis, he stands up, he says, Ana ya ruhullah. Now let's just stop here. They were referring to Esaa whilst he was alive, and he accepted it. They were calling him Ruhullah. Now people are saying that he is part of a trinity, and the spirit and the man and the father make up one deity. But at that time, the use of the word father, the use of the word spirit, the use of none of these meant shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now this person is saying, Ana ya ruhullah. He's saying to Esaa, you are the spirit of Allah. Now this is linguistics. But he doesn't accept for himself that he is actually the spirit of Allah. So what does it mean that he is the Ruh of Allah? It means that he is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded for the soul to be breathed into the sleeve or the womb of his mother. The miraculous birth. So this person, Surjis, he says, me, Ya Rasul. So Esaa alayhi salam says, this person who takes my form or takes my place, he will have Jannah. This is now proof to say that the person that was saved was one person. It wasn't all of them. But some of the ulama of tafsir have said all of them changed in their image and their appearance to resemble Esaa. So when they stormed the house, so now they've had the food, washed their hands, he is told them what is happening, Esaa alayhi salam, and then they stormed the house. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then lifted him. They did a head count and they found 12, not 13. There's supposed to be 13 of them. Esaa is 1 and 12 disciples. So what they did is then they started looking to see who is Esaa. This is one, version of events. What seems to be the case is that Esaa was gone and this person, Shum'un, resembled Esaa, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that miracle, and he's the one that got picked up. Imam al-Tabari rahimahullah, so that's one, we're only mentioning this is to add to the tafsir really, and to add to ilm. Was it all of them? Was it not all of them? What seems to be the correct view is that it wasn't all of them, it was only one young man whose name was Shamun. Also being discussed in the books of tafsir, did it appear to the killers only, or was it to everyone? Meaning the people who were persecuting, was it made it to seem that they got Esaa in their own eyes, or was this person Shum'un? So when they looked at Shum'un, they saw Esaa, but for everybody else, they just saw Shum'un. Is that the case? Or was Shum'un made to look like Esaa to everyone? Another thing that the ulama have discussed. So now, so far, we've established that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supports the believers. After the people who have tried to plot and plan against the believers, it is returned back to them. So they wanted to kill him, Allah lifted him. They wanted to kill him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed for them to carry on in their blindness and their misguidance. What happened to the believers? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved the believers. How did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save the believers? He took from them a shaheed. Also, this is a mercy for the believers, because now that they feel that they've got Esaa ibn Maryam, the believers can carry on worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had lifted Esaa ibn Maryam, what would happen? They'd kill all of them. Also, from the answers that we have given, Ibn Kathir rahimahullah tells us that this shows us the ability and the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For hundreds of years, they had no idea what was going on. They don't know the unseen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only does He show how He supports the believers, and He can change the laws of physics, He can change everything to support the believers. And we've seen this before with a great flood. We've seen this before with a wind that came and took away a whole nation. We've seen this with the earth shaking. We've seen this with a cry. We've seen this with the sea being parted. We've seen this now as well. The power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But also what we learn from this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the unseen and we do not know the unseen. Hence, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ يَقِينًا. They did not kill him, not with any kind of insight, not with any kind of certainty. There's another way that we can also answer this. Now, this is from a different surah, towards the end of Surah Al-Ma'idah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they supplicated to Allah to send for us a ma'idah min as-sama', what they call the last meal, I think what they call it. Esaa alayhi salam says, Fattaqullah, fear Allah. How can you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send you food from the sky? In kuntum mu'minin, if you are truly believers. You don't need these kind of miracles. Believe in the message for what it has come. So they said, no, we want it to be a Eid, li'awwalina wa akhirina wa ayatin minka. We want a sign from you, O Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted for them a ma'idah min as-sama', a table spread that came down. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قال Allah subhanahu, inni munazziluha alaykum. I will send you this table spread that you have asked for. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرُ بَعْدُ مِنْكُمْ. Anyone who makes kufr after this, فَإِنِّي وَأَذِّبُهُ عَذَابًا لَا وَأَذِّبُهُ أَحَدًا مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. I will punish this person unlike anyone else from the creation. Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu, he said, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ عَذَابًا ثَلَاثًا. The people who will be punished the most, يوم القيامة, are three. Number one, the munafiq. May Allah protect us. The person who displays faith, but inside he has no faith. He displays iman in Islam, but inside he has no iman in Islam. He claims to be a believer externally, but internally he doesn't. That is a hypocrite. Number two, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْمَائِدَةِ. Those people who disbelieved after they saw this miracle from the disciples of Esaa ibn Maryam. وَآلَ فِرْعَوْنَ. And the third group of people that are going to be punished the most and severest, يوم القيامة, Allah protect us, are the people of Fir'aun. Why are we mentioning this? We are mentioning this to say that in this is a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down to them the Ma'idah. Are they going to remain firm or not without Esaa ibn Maryam? And we've seen what happened with Yunus, Zakaria, Yuta. We talked about him before. Some of the books of tafsir actually said that he made tawbah and he regretted, etc. But the point here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down this final miracle. And then Esaa departed from them. Are they going to remain firm or not? So Esaa alayhi salam was lifted. They saw another miracle that Esaa alayhi salam was lifted. Are they going to remain firm upon Tawheed or not? Or are they going to distort? Therefore, the question is asking here, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala change the image of an individual to resemble Esaa ibn Maryam? Why didn't Allah just lift him? Why didn't Allah just eradicate his enemies and the disbelievers like he did before, subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose for this person to change Isn't this a form of lying and trickery from Allah? Na'udhu billah. We will say in answering this question, this is not correct. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed that He is not going to remove a whole nation after the coming of Musa alayhi salam. Number two, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed here that these people who plot and plan, always their plotting and their planning will be returned back to them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised and decreed that He will support the believers in the best possible manner. And as for Esaa ibn Maryam in particular, there's a great deal of differing when it comes to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has preserved him so that he can come back and explain the truth to the people. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted him. Also in this, we learn that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this as a test not only for the Christians, but for the Jews after Esaa ibn Maryam. Some of them became even more arrogant in their kufr, in their disbelief, and some of them distorted after believing in Esaa ibn Maryam, and some of them remained firm. Also, from the lessons that we learn from this, is that it teaches us the superiority and the majesty and the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His infinite knowledge and His hikmah, which is baligha and forthright. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends His miracles to whoever He wants, and its explanation and its reason and its acceptance by the believers might not necessarily be known in its hikmah right away, but made clear even after our time. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us all the best of understanding, and that He makes us the people of Tawheed, and He makes us the followers of the prophets and the messengers and the books that He has sent to us. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله على نبينا محمد.